Hello and welcome to Shad'sVoice, where I talk about a topic and then I go from there. And today's topic is an interesting one because everybody grew up differently, and depending on who you talk to and what generation, it depends on how old they are and what it was like back then. And it's basically another music topic. I believe we've had one music topic so far. Or maybe quite a few, maybe talking about, like my favorite song and everything about that. But this one is different. This is more of a media kind of one, and maybe you know exactly what I'm talking about already. So, it says records, tapes, CDs, MP3s, streaming. Which did you grow up with? What is good and bad about each? Well, I don't even want to talk about the good and bad about each, technically, but basically what I grew up with, I guess, and obviously I'm not that old. I mean, I'm nearly 30 now. Probably about the average age, almost, of everybody that listens to my videos, which surprises me that they're actually around my age, but I got a few that are younger and a few that are older, which is fascinating as well. But as for me, being born in the 90s, well, I remember seeing some. I don't think I've ever seen an actual record. I know there's some radios that still have like record players. Maybe my grandma actually has records, but I haven't actually like listened to them or have any fond memories of record players. Tapes I have seen and know of. My mom had some. I remember listening to some music actually off of them somehow, like some point of life, listening to them. And plus, I know at one point, when most vehicles even had a tape player, there was this one that kind of almost acted like a USB, sort of like, yeah, a USB cord. Like, usually when you plug your phone into your car now, it has the actual, like, charger jack. What I'm talking about is this worked the same way, but it was like a tape with a wire. And it played music somehow like that. I do not remember how long ago that was, but I specifically remember this tape, which is crazy. When I grew up, obviously, I had CDs and MP3s, and both have a big part of my history, especially growing up with me listening to and getting through life. Call me emo all you want, or whatever. I used Linkin Park as a way to get through a lot of my school years, especially moving as much as I did and dealing with what I did. But luckily not drugs or anything on that, just depression and battling other things, but we're not going to get into that topic. But I got a bunch. I have quite a lot of Linkin Park CDs. And so if I think of CDs in general, it's the fact that I have so many of them. I mean, I have other CDs as well, but mostly I think of my Linkin Park CDs. MP3, that is another thing that carried on throughout my life, middle school through high school. So literally 12 years of my life had to deal with an MP3. I always listened to it. I would listen to it before I go to bed. Get up, get ready for school. Didn't take me nearly as long as my sister did. So I'd end up having to wake her up, and then I'd go lay in bed listening to my MP3 until it was nearly time to go back to school. Well, go to school. and I would still listen to my MP3 going to school and whatnot. And then high school, I still had an MP3. Yeah, I've gone through several MP3s, obviously, and still have them, but they're kind of like old, and it's really sad. Kind of like I remember one has a cracked screen, but I almost sort of have a memory of how to use it. Kind of, I don't, without having to see the screen. Pretty sure there's a word for that, but I can't think of it right now. But like, it's just like a photogenic memory of remembering how it operated, that kind of thing, and knowing, since everything was mostly alphabetical order, I could still remember what song was where almost. Maybe it's been too long, so I probably lost that by now, but who knows. But yeah, in high school, I still had a working MP3. I still listened to it. I listened to it in my, like, strength training class, which was basically like gym, but intense workout. Especially on running days. Days I would walk home. Days on the bus. That was how I lived. Music was my life, and I always had an MP3. And one of the things I remember, like, I really miss it because you cannot buy MP3s really anymore. You can't even hardly, like, I remember where I worked, had a customer order an iPod, and those are old too, and you can, like, probably barely get them now. So it's like, and with Bluetooth and streaming and YouTube, and CDs are also going out of style, really. You do not find them anymore, or people just don't use them. And it's like, it's sad that it's going out of style, because that was just like one of the things. Yeah, some of them took batteries. Oh my god. I remember one of my MP3s did not have a charger. It's just like single or double. Maybe it was single, but triple A batteries every time. And then, it only was good for like 2 hours of nonstop listening to music. Good and bad times. I could say that's probably a bad thing about having MP3 back then. But I've had a few that I can charge, so, but still about 2 hours worth of listening to music nonstop before it died. Which, good and bad, I guess? I don't know. You think about it, a CD is average about an hour of music in total. So, 2 CDs worth of music is all you got nonstop from that. That's mostly what I grew up with, though. I never had an iPod, but I mean, I actually had the MP3s, so never knew the idea of like expensive iPod was a touch screen and just scroll and go to music. No, mine always had buttons and all that, which I still wasn't complaining about because, it was a lot of fond memories, and that's how I got through life. Streaming music now, I guess I can't say I don't really stream music. I don't go to Spotify. I do not, do a lot of that. Not promoting it, but of course we all know we've used ways of getting free music, quote unquote free, and downloading and not having to pay for something. Because, most songs are like 99 cents or $2, I think was maybe a max then. I had to stop doing this about 2 to 3 years ago, because that's another thing. Computers, laptops just really don't come with CD drive anymore. But of course, I'm from the generation that knows how to burn CDs. Which, again, is a dying art because, well, one, laptops aren't coming with CD drives anymore. Of course, they're going to have a USB drive, always. But I knew how to burn CDs. Sadly, I wish I had more CDs I could burn, because I feel like my car that I still listen to CDs in, I need more CDs because I'm sick of hearing all the stuff, and I know so many more songs I wish I could listen to in my car, but I can't because I don't have a way of burning CDs. So maybe getting an external CD hard drive. Yeah, but that's how crazy big music was in my life. Just always those good memories. And I remembered, like, some time ago, just how much I actually miss it. Is the only way I can go to bed listening to music now. And some phones don't always have a headphone jack anymore, by the way. Those are also dying. With Bluetooth headphones and everything, I still use headphones with wires. They are going out of style too. Everything that I grew up with is going out of style or going dead. And I guess a lot of people could say that too. They're not like the only ones. And I know I'm not the only ones saying it. And it's like, it's crazy. It's insane. It really is. So it's like, man, remember all the good times? Yep, I did. And you know what? They're gone now, which sucks. But yeah, the only way I can listen to music now would be on my phone, which is not that great, audio-wise, or hearing things just like what headphones would pick up and just tunes you out from the world around you, like headphones did. And having an MP3 that just, or an iPod that could just go with you anywhere and everywhere, and usually you can just stick it in your pocket and be fine. That is gone. Can you believe it? But, I mean, there used to be, like, old school CD players, like people say the Walkman and stuff. I never had a Walkman, but I actually had, like, a CD player, which, was usually way too big to stick in any pocket. But those are definitely also old school. Oh, man. Memories, though. Holy cow, growing up, things are just not like that anymore. And it's changing all the time. But yeah, I mean, batteries. I guess in a way I still talked about the bad thing. Batteries. How big the CD players were. They don't really put tape players or in cars anymore. Pretty sure they don't. I don't even know the last time I saw a tape player in a car, to be honest. I think it's been a really long time since I've seen a cassette, too. But, yeah, just, I guess it's a really bad thing, generally, of everything, when it goes out of style, out of date, and dies. And some of those can be really sad, because it's like, you have good memories from it, and then it's like, well, those times are gone, man. And, yeah, it's changing all the time, so who knows what the next thing is going to be. But, but I think that was a very good topic, and I enjoyed it. Hopefully you did. If you listen, thank you for listening. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.